Over the course of the last year, I have purchased $1,000 worth of SCHD each month. And in this video, we're going to take a look at the performance of this position over the course of the last year, as well as the dividends that this position has produced. So if you enjoy the video, drop a like down below, and if you want to see more videos like this one, make sure to subscribe. So what exactly is SCHD? It is the Schwab US Dividend Equity ETF, and the goal of this fund is to track the total returns of the Dow Jones US Dividend 100 Index. And SCHD does this through matching its top holdings, which are AbbVie, Merck, Amgen, Broadcom, Home Depot, Texas Instruments, Chevron, Verizon, Cisco, and none other than Warren Buffett's favorite, Coca-Cola. And when you talk about SCHD, of course you have to mention its dividend yield, currently sitting around 3.5%, and they have paid around $2.66 per share over the past year. And here we can see how those dividends have played out over the last year. In March, they had a dividend payment of 59 cents per share. In June, 66 cents per share. In September, 65 cents. And then in December, 74 cents per share. And this equals just under $2.66 per share. And one benefit to SCHD is that they continue to grow their dividend over time. In 2022, they produced a dividend of $2.56 per share. This is a growth rate of around 3.79% year over year. Not only does SCHD provide a very solid dividend yield, but they also have good returns since the fund was created in 2011, coming in at an annualized return of 12.56%. As I mentioned at the start of the video, I have purchased around $1,000 per month over the last 12 months of SCHD. Here are all the transaction totals that you can see starting back in January of this year, where I purchased 20 shares of SCHD. Over the next few months, I slowed down some of my purchases into SCHD, only buying 6 shares in February, 6 in March, 7 in April, and 8 in May. And the stock began to show some signs of a bottom in May, so I began to ramp up my purchases in June, purchasing a total of 28 shares from June 1st through June 16th. In July, I purchased another 15 shares, August another 20 shares, and then September another 15 shares. In October, I purchased another 13 shares of SCHD, November 7 shares, and then in December another 18 shares. And that brings my total number of shares to 163 with a cost basis of $11,873.15. And right now we're currently up $575.16 for a total return of 4.84%. And one key takeaway from this is the power of dollar cost averaging into a stock. If I were to put this $12,000 into SCHD last year, I would be down around 1.5%. However, because I have averaged into the company, I am actually sitting up almost 5%. And not included in these returns are the dividends that I have received from SCHD. We can see that back in March when I first started this position, I was only receiving $19.09. By June, that number had over doubled to $49.85. September, it jumped up to $75.27, and here in December we see it sitting around $107.63. That comes out to a total dividends received in 2023 of $251.84. You may be looking at this and wonder, why would you ever invest into SCHD? It has traded sideways over the last year, where the S&P 500 is up over 20% and the Nasdaq is up over 40%. So personally, when I am investing into the stock market, I am constantly thinking at least 1 to 2, if not 3 to 5 years out. And what we have seen over the last 1 to 2 years has been big tech companies being beaten down, especially companies like Meta, which I built out a very solid position in, and that has capitalized very nicely this year. However, what we have seen over the last kind of 3-ish years is a lot of these dividend companies have traded basically sideways. And I think what we're going to see over the next 2 to 3 years is these dividend companies playing catch up and providing a lot more returns than what we will see from the Nasdaq and S&P 500. And on top of that, this will just provide some diversity to my account, and it's never a bad thing to receive a dividend 4 times a year. So keep in mind, do not buy a company just because some random guy on YouTube talked about it. Make sure you are doing your own research and looking into companies that meet your risk tolerance as well as your time horizon. So with all of that said, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like down below. And if you want to see see more videos like this one, make sure to subscribe. And as always, guys, have a wonderful rest of your day.